Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for May the 2nd, and well, we didn't really have all that dramatic a day to start the month out. We began to move up, and then we hit some intraday sell signals and immediately turned off from it, but regained most of that throughout the day, and this is just part of that same consolidation. Nothing has really changed here. We didn't see any worsening of the readings from an orange DOC standpoint, meaning getting to extreme overbought or anything. What we did was we just had a little bit more of the DOC spread here where the short increase above the red has just gotten a little bit bigger, and we continue to have short-term buyers just holding off. We're going to reach that fourth of the month and new inflows in that, and so that would be the next period to look for continued move. Now, completely different looking chart there when you look at the NASDAQ. Technology is the only bet at this particular point, and that's just a beautiful looking chart. It hasn't changed. I mean, it's a big divergence when you compare it to the S&P and the relative flatness, and I think part of that is really a result of the fact that none of the stimulus and those kinds of things that were being talked about even close to fruition. The budget that passed didn't reflect any changes whatsoever that are going to have a positive impact, I think, on growth or anything. So at this particular point, everything's on hold. Euro is right within the baseline expectation, so no change there. Continues to look pretty strong. Had a little bit of weakness with the orange above the plus 13, but it happened at the same time you still had cyan underneath red. And that hasn't changed at this particular point. So we're still above that range, which goes all the way up into the 115 range. So holding flat, I think that Sunday's election should solidify strength in the euro if Macron, who's seen as the continuation of Holland policies, will continue. So we had a little bit of a breakdown from TLT. It's still been in a short signal from way back over here. We haven't seen any alteration to that. In fact, it looks like it could be moving up towards another one of those sell signal continuations. It's a strange play at this particular point for the rally that it's had. I mean, obviously there is still weakness in that, but it doesn't appear that the Fed is going to stop their rate increases. So that should continue to put downward pressure, but things have acted strangely, so can't completely deny the possibility of it going the opposite direction, though the readings at this particular point aren't suggesting that. And USO continues to look soft. I mean, you're going to hit a baseline where there's just a base production value, but with the supply that exists, at some point you're already starting to see an undermining of price through some of the big sellers privately that they're not even respecting what the trading price is. So it's a real interesting market now developing, and with the just massive amount of supply, it's just a crazy thing. We talked about gold still in a little bit of a sell right here. It's pretty much filled in the last of the positive extremes that happened over these last couple of days, but now the ABM becomes a value here where you have the green breakdown, and at this particular point it's still in a sell, even though we still like it overall in general. As I've said, you wait for the dip till we get a super oversold situation, and that becomes another opportunity to get into it. Here's what we had from an intraday standpoint. It wasn't a very busy day from a volume standpoint. We started off with some nice resets, and every time we got the nice little reset, which corresponds to these number fives, like you can see, nothing really worth from a super oversold or anything that triggered an ABM reset for that dramatic a move. But what you did have was every time you had a dip and you were able to move above those ABMs, it became powerful plays, particularly since we were above the long short algo for quite a bit of most of it. Got over bought right here when we moved to the plus 13.5. What did I get into? It was 13.6 range, but kind of held flat through most of it. Still ended up a little bit weaker, but hasn't produced anything significant to the downside. And I mean, in fact, now relatively modest. We're probably just going to float around here at the zero level, and until we start seeing some of that supply coming into the market with new money, it's got nowhere else to go. It's no other place for yield. It's just becoming a little more selective as we're starting to not get the broad-based excitement over everything. This is probably going to be more selective as to which companies are actually earning. Go figure. That actually would have to make some money. At the end of the day, we just got to follow with what the readings are, and I think the bias is still to the upside, and we're still looking for that broader big target, which is the 2450 to 2500 range. So we'll take it from there, and we'll just see how it continues to play out. If there are changes, then we'll adjust our position based on what we see. As always, trade well. We'll talk again later.